If your brain can believe you're not good enough, you're a mess, you have issues, whatever, without any proof, it can also believe you are amazing and worthy of everything you desire. And typically, we have proof of the latter. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel, or just welcome if you're new. My name is Eboni Harris and I'm a serial entrepreneur based in Houston, Texas. So today I'm gonna do a video that I haven't done in a while, which is a get ready with me. This one is not structured at all. I have a few points I wanna make, but it's really random thoughts that I have, a lot of stuff that I've told clients repeatedly. And anytime I repeat myself, I'm always like, I should share this, because clearly this is when I say it to them, it resonates, right? Whether they have like a really big reaction, which happens sometime, or if they're just like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Like I get it. And that's good advice. So the first one is, I've been saying this a lot lately, especially as I continue to help people like understand more about like their thoughts, their emotions, their triggers, things like that. And it is, you have to master how to meet your own needs before you can expect it from someone else. And the reason why I say this is because oftentimes, especially those needs that are triggering to us, especially those needs that like cause us to feel like very upset or triggered because it's based in our childhood stuff, we are often expecting others to meet certain needs from us that we don't even know what it feels like to have it met. Our parents didn't meet them in the past. Our partners apparently don't ever meet them. We haven't met them for ourselves. And so we kind of have this expectation of people like, oh, you should know, you should be able to meet my needs, without really fully understanding what it even feels like to have that need met, because we've never met that need, right? And so I really think that we are going to continue to feel unfulfilled in that area because they are not going to be able to meet that need to the extent that feels enough. Because again, we are often, when it comes to that, we are often trying to get someone to love us in the way that we wish our parents had loved us. We are often trying to get someone to love us in a way that we wish we had gotten in the past. And we're trying to kind of close up that loop, that open or broken loop from our childhood. And the reality is, it's very rare that somebody's going to be able to do it and do it consistently and do it exactly how you want it. Doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Often I've heard people say like, well, I met my partner and my partner was able to blah, blah, blah. Yeah, sure. It can happen. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but it's just unlikely. And so to make it a little bit easier on yourself and a little bit easier on your partner, you might want to look at, how do I start to tap into what that need is? How do I start to meet that need for myself? And that way, when I'm with a partner or with a friend or with a family member, whatever, even though, yes, you still desire and would like for them to do it, it doesn't feel it feels like more of a cherry on top versus I'm expecting you to like heal these old wounds of mine. Because that's all it is. Our triggers are based on these experiences that we have when we're younger, and based on these unmet needs. It's based on these things that we wish we had gotten when we were younger, we have not gotten from our parents and from the adults in our lives. And so then we are expecting our partner or people in our lives to meet these needs, okay? So that is why it is so important that we master it first, because when you master it, then they're not then every single time you expect them to meet that need, it's not meeting a need to heal you. It's kind of like oh, okay, I know what this feels like. I know, and I like it, and I enjoy it. And if they don't meet it, then it doesn't feel like, oh, you're triggering me, right? Because you know what it feels like to meet it. And so it's nice when somebody else can, but sometimes people struggle. Sometimes their triggers trigger your triggers, or whatever the case may be. And so I just think I feel like an example would be, I need someone to validate me. When I'm struggling, when I'm having a hard time, I need someone to validate me. But how do you validate yourself? Most people that I know that seek validation from other people beat themselves up. They're highly critical of themselves. They don't, when they have a belief or a thought, they're looking for someone else to confirm it for them versus just them believing in themselves and just them saying, I know this is how I feel. I know this is what's going on, and I can just live with that. They're seeking it in other people. Same thing with people that overextend themselves, that are people pleasers, that try their best to like over accommodate people. They are also looking for someone to accommodate them, right? And I say, I don't even think they're looking for somebody to over accommodate. They're just looking for someone to go out of their way because that's something they may not have gotten when they were younger. And so how do you accommodate yourself? You probably don't, because often when you're a people pleaser, right, when you're a person that over accommodates other people, you put yourself on the back burner. So how about you master that first? And so then when people do it, it may not look like this big show like you might do for other people, but when people do it, you can appreciate it more because it's like, oh, that's the feeling I'm looking for. It's not the act per se. It's more of the feeling of like, oh, you went out of your way. You thought about me. You showed that you appreciate me, all of that. But when we do it ourselves, we don't need it as much from other people. Right. And so that turns into that, like, the more that you love on yourself, the more that you do for yourself, the more that you meet your own needs. Yes, it's appreciated and it's liked and loved and all of that when someone else does it. But it's not this big thing of like, oh, you don't love me because you didn't do this thing. Right? Where it can kind of just be like, oh, that's nice. Like, I got a person that also can meet these needs as well, but I know I can meet them myself. And it also helps us not get so attached to people where it becomes like this anxious attachment or anything like that, because we are, oh, they meet some of my needs, or I need them here to meet my needs. And so I don't want to let them go when a relationship no longer serves me. Okay. So the next one is, if your brain, and I always think about this, but I literally just watched a podcast and they said something similar. And I was like, right, like I feel like I say this all the time. So we're going to share it here. If your brain can believe you're not good enough, you're a mess, you have issues, whatever, without any proof, it can also believe you are amazing and worthy of everything you desire. And typically we have proof of the latter, right? So if we can walk around and be like, oh my God, the world's going to end, everything's horrible, you know, my parents are going to die tomorrow, like all of these fears that we have, that is that if our brain can believe that I'm not good enough, I don't deserve this, I should just be happy with what I have, I shouldn't expect anything more. If your brain can believe that about yourself when you don't have any proof that that's true, right? Like, and I'll say no proof. We have proof oftentimes again, is related to our childhood, but you don't have any current data to prove that you're not worthy of the job that you got, to prove that you're not worthy of being loved fully and unconditionally, to prove that you're not worthy of having a community, you're not worthy of having a home that you love. Whatever it is, we often are in a space. This is a lot of imposter syndrome too, right? We're often in a space where everything is proven that I can take care of myself. Everything is proven that I can love on myself. I can have the life I want. I'm actually living the life that maybe I thought I would have when I was younger, or a life that may even be better than what I ever thought I would have when I was younger. But we're still telling ourselves we're not good enough. If your brain can believe that, it can also believe the opposite. And this is why we have to train our brains to really accept, like, hey, I'm worthy. I'm happy. I'm good. I'm lovable. I am the bee's knees, whatever you want to say, right? We have to kind of train our brains. And this is why, as much as people, you know, aren't sometimes fans of positive affirmations, that's why it works. Because you're literally just telling your brain, hey, look around. I have a place that I love. Hey, look at the job I'm doing. I can't believe I got here. I didn't think I would be able to get here 10 years ago, and look where I'm at right now, right? Yeah, you might have more goals. Yeah, you may wish you were further along, but look at where you are right now. And how do you show gratitude for that? How do you say I'm worthy of that? How do you say I'm good enough for this? And the more that we tell ourselves that, the more our brain is like, oh, okay, well, if you say so, I guess we are, right? And so we have to kind of practice that. I made a whole video about this, but just to reiterate, and I'll make sure I link it in the the link that comes up here. Stop being loyal to previous decisions and previous versions of yourself. We have to stop being loyal to decisions that we've made in the past. You are allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to get new information. You're allowed to decide that this no longer serves you. And again, speaking from someone who's worked as a relationship therapist, I feel like this happens a lot in relationships with infidelity, or even in relationships where the person that you have been with is acting different than they have in the past. Does that mean you need to automatically leave them? No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that this means, oh, as soon as someone starts acting differently, you're out. But if someone starts to show up in a certain way and you've spoken your concerns, y'all tried to talk about it, and you've said, hey, it feels like you're not the same that you used to be, and they're not being, if something has completely shifted and now this person feels like they're a completely different person, and it's not any real, it doesn't feel like there's real work happening to say like, hey, let's understand why, let's try to fix this, or whatever your reason is, right? Because people can leave for small reasons or big reasons. I don't really care. I think people should be able to live their life the way they want to. But whatever the reason is, you have new information now. You have a new person that you're dealing with, and you may not know how to deal with. It may be they have completely lost interest. I read so many stories. I hear so many stories from clients of, as the person is starting to shift and change. Of course, as someone who's done this for a while, I already kind of know what's coming and what's going to happen. Like, that's probably going to end. They're probably dating somebody else, or, they're probably checked out and whatever. They're just not interested in continuing this relationship. So I can kind of recognize that. Of course, I'm not going to tell them that because that's not my place, but I can kind of tell. And so it's a lot of like understanding, like, okay, so this is who they are now. Are you okay with that? We can't keep hoping they're going to go back. Maybe they will. But that's not what we can hope for. We have to hope for we have to deal with what's happening right now. And so living in a space of hope has never helped anyone, right? We have to live in a space of, this is reality. Living in a space of hope when it comes to other people. Let me say that. Because you can live in a space of hope for yourself, right? You also have to acknowledge where you are now and then work toward what you're hoping for. You can definitely live in a space of like, I'm hoping things get better, but also I'm acknowledging that this is where that, like, let's take finances as an example. If you are not in a great financial space, right, and you're saying, oh, I hope things will get better. I hope that I'll get a better paying job. I hope I'll, make more money. That I hope I'll learn how to budget. All of that is great, but then you have to take action, right? So, but right now, I don't have a better job. Right now, I don't know how to budget. So what do I need to do? Let me learn how to budget, right? What I need to do, I need to start applying for jobs. So hope is fine, especially when there's action behind it. Just recognizing that you don't need to be loyal to your decisions. You don't need to be loyal to your identities. You're a changing human being. As you get new information, you will change. I literally had a conversation recently with some friends about like some statements that were made when we were younger. Like, these are friends I've known for over 20 years, right? And we were talking about just like, oh, you remember that time you said that? And it's like, oh, girl, yes, I'm cringing because like that was not okay. But at the time, that was the information, and that was the information I had. I thought that was correct. I thought that was right. I was absolutely wrong. And that's just the reality of growing and healing and learning and continuing to unlearn, right? And so recognizing that just because you made a decision, just because you said something in the past, does not mean that you have to stick with it forever. You get to change your mind. Nice is the minimum. We don't date people because they're nice. We only date nice people. We don't date people because they're nice. We only date nice people. I hear so often, well, I kept talking to him because he was nice. Well, he was such a nice guy. Why are you dating people that are not nice? That is the minimum. That is the only people that should be spending time with you. The only people you should be giving your energy to. The only people that should be in your presence are people that are nice and respectful. Friends, family, partners, dating, whatever, right? Being nice is not a reason to continue a situation with someone that you're not interested in, that you don't have anything in common with, that you really don't enjoy spending time with. That's not a reason. Being nice is the minimum. We only date nice people. We only date people that treat us well. That's it. That's all. We are meant to feel all of our feelings, not just the desirable ones. Everyone is so obsessed with being happy, having joy, being content, being at peace. Definitely we want to be in spaces where we can feel that more often. We are meant to feel the range of emotions. We are meant to feel happy, sad, angry, depressed, excited, embarrassed, joy. Ooh, I just messed up. All of the emotions. And what we often do is we want to suppress the bad or the undesirable, because I don't like to label them as good as bad. We want to suppress the undesirable ones and only have the positive ones. But all of our emotions are talking to us. All of our emotions are telling us things. And guess what? It's really hard to appreciate the positive ones if you never experience any of the negative ones. And so that's why it's extremely important for us to acknowledge and accept when we're having desirable and when we're having undesirable emotions. And really understanding for both, why do I feel this way, right? Not only the undesirable, because we'll do that too. We'll only focus on when we're bad. Why am I so mad? Why am I so angry, right? But we don't do that for our positive. Why am I so excited? Oh, but it's a lot easier for us to typically identify our positive ones, right? So we're supposed to have a range of emotions. We're supposed to feel all of our emotions. And so we have to allow ourselves to feel the desirable and the undesirable, so we can truly appreciate when things are good. And we can also acknowledge and understand that when we are struggling, when we are having undesirable emotions, it's just a message. It's just our body, our mind, our experiences telling us like, hey, pay attention. You're in danger. Oh, this is bad. This doesn't feel good. That's it, right? We can't avoid grief. We can't avoid sadness. We can't avoid anger. We can't avoid loneliness. We can't avoid abandonment. Like whatever you're feeling, those are your feelings. And so we need to experience all of them so that we can truly understand them. And then so we can appreciate the desirable ones. All right, I have a few more, but I'm going to go ahead and stop there because I wanted this to be a short video anyway. So what I'll do is next time I decide to do a Get Ready With Me, I'll do something similar. Or if you have any quotables, you can definitely put that in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and all those things. That's all. Bye.